Business update. State-run enterprises have a debt level of 780 billion birr. That's according to the Finance Minister, Ahmed Shideh. Ahmed Shideh made the remarks during a series of discussions hosted by the Prime Minister's office focusing on policy matters. During the meeting, he elaborated on the reform of state-owned enterprises, which is one of the government's main economic reform plans. Ethiopian Electric Power, Ethiopian Electric Service, Ethiopian Railways Corporation, Engineering Group, Chemical Industry Corporation, Construction Works Corporation, and Sugar Corporation are among the enterprises identified by the government as needed for change.
And this has grown very, very hugely over the last 10 years. And therefore, most state-owned enterprises are in heavy debt stress, and their ability to function as an organization and their ability to give services, their ability to further invest in key infrastructure and industrial projects are highly limited. And their balance sheet is in a very, very bad shape because most of they're exposed to significant debt. And unless those debt are restructured in a very creative and innovative way, it is impossible to make sure that state-owned enterprise have a meaningful role in the economy. And so managing this debt stress is one of the fundamental objectives, so that state-owned enterprise will continue to function as an enterprise because they have fundamental objectives why they have been established, and most of them are linked to key infrastructure service provisions and as well as industrial development activities. And that requires correcting their financial status, reformulating their balance sheet. So we have made more than 1 year assessment of state-owned enterprise debt burden. Overall, the state-owned enterprise debt level is 780 billion Ethiopian birr.
According to the minister, Ethiopian Airlines and Ethio Telecom are not included in the reform as they are already doing well, noting a study has been prepared to assess the current financial situation of the enterprises, their debt and capital management.
After the assessment, we assessed 7 enterprises. One of them are Ethiopian Electric Power, Ethiopian Electric Utility, Railway Corporation, Ethio Engineering Group, which used to be called METEC, Chemical Industry Corporation, Construction Works Corporation, and Sugar Corporations. We have assessed their level of debt stress, and most of them have significant debt burden, which they cannot able to service their debt. And in addition to correcting the balance sheet of these enterprises to make sure that they will be reformed and their balance sheet is cleaned so that they will have good financial sounding, as well as ability to continue and function, is one fundamental objective. But in addition to that, these corporations, state-owned enterprise, have significantly borrowed from Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. So Commercial Bank has been giving loan to this enterprise for the last 10 years. So there is significant exposure.
Stabilizing the financial sector is one of the key talks or tasks in the reform, he said, adding that the government is working to reduce debts through various innovations and approaches.
So failure of this enterprise not to honor their debt obligations is going to affect also the financial sector through CBE. So Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is very vulnerable. So financial sector stability is also another objective. By restructuring this debt and making sure that the government took this debt not directly to the budget through innovative and creative vehicle. We established LAMAC, Liability and Asset Management Company, which is going to be financed not through the budget, but through non-budgetary means, which we expect privatization proceeds among the main one. Okay. So this will correct the balance sheet of state-owned enterprises. It will also make sure that CBE is not vulnerable anymore and will function as a core of the financial sector in Ethiopian banking sector in general. And this also is very important. And also we relieve this from the budget, which means burden on the budget will not come. So we will finance it through non-budgetary means. And that is the innovative mechanisms we have taught.
The full interview will be brought to you right after the news. The World Trade Organization, WTO, has appointed former Nigeria's finance minister